General, first of all, very happy to be in this session as well. Very happy to be in the Italian market, which is currently our second most important market, to our, I must say, quite big surprise. We're very happy with how Lynk Co is evolving in the European market. We only launched a bit like 2 years ago with a business model that was very new. So for us, it was a little bit of an experiment and wait and see how the public reacts to something that we think is new in the marketplace. But so far, the reactions have been outstanding. One of our biggest problems has been to deal with the demand, which was being higher than we expected. And particularly, we're surprised about how the Italian market has reacted. As I said, it's currently the second biggest market in Europe after the Netherlands, which was for us a pleasant surprise because we know how important the car is in the Italian culture. So to come with something very new in that business is always a bit of an experiment. So it's great to see how we see the brand is perceived in Italy. Yeah, so when we launched, we took the deliberate decision to focus on one car, the plug-in hybrid, the 01. The reason for that has been that in a number of markets, particularly in Italy, the charging infrastructure is still not sufficient. As that is now evolving in a lot of markets, even though still not a lot in Italy, we decided to launch a full electric car at the end of next year, the end of 24. But we will keep the 01 in the market because we believe that particularly in markets like Spain, but most of all Italy, you need a non-electric car because the infrastructure is still insufficient. So that is for us, when it comes to the Italian market, one of the most important changes is the introduction of a second car, a full BEV car. We have always said that, I would almost say that subscription, our monthly contract, is a little bit of our signature offer. That's what I think Lynk Co was known for. But at the end of the day, we've always said that we don't really care how people get access to our car, whether it's a subscription, the sales of a cash sales, or also leasing, which is new. And we think that particularly in the Italian market, the leasing is very attractive, and is something that we understand now, even only weeks after launching the lease, that the demand of that is quite high in Italy. Because basically what we really want to enable more and more is the sharing. The more people share the car, the more our business model becomes sustainable. So yes, lease is for us an additional offer, which we believe can be very important for Italy, so that we basically have cash, lease, and subscription. Subscription still being a little bit of the signature offer. And with all three variants, the aim is then that people can use their car for also to share it. I think that the days are over where you have to take for granted that people just buy cars. We see a growing trend that people want to use cars more than to buy them. We see it in all countries, in Italy, in Germany, in all countries, and not even in Europe. There's a trend of spending money on doing things and rather than on owning things. So we think that should also be reflected in the automotive business and in the mobility business. That's why we offer this flexibility so that people can choose. And we think the cash part will continue to decrease and the subscription and lease part will continue to increase. And that's why we offer all options so that we give the customer the choice. And at the end of the day, as I said, hope that they will then share the car as much as possible. And to that point, it's quite interesting to state that the sharing now in Italy is the second most in Europe. About 15% of our Lynk Co owners share their car, which we think is quite promising in a market where I was always told people will never share their car. Well, it's happening. I think it will become stronger and stronger. I think the concept of company cars will also fade away, and I think companies will offer mobility budgets to employers, which I think would make much more sense. And we try to stimulate that. We believe car ownership will stay for a long time, but we believe that car usability is something that needs to be promoted. let's face it, the average car stands still for 96% of the time. Cars are used 4% of the time. So owning a car is not a very efficient way. I'm in Milan now. When I drive around here, I don't drive around here. I just stand still. So then saying we're going to sell more cars doesn't make sense. We need to have less cars that are better utilized. And I think that will be happening. And the new way of owning a car, leasing a car, subscribing a car, renting a car, I think is what the future will be all about. And we try to make that path happening. It's obviously difficult and maybe sounds a bit arrogant for me to give advice to fleet managers, but I think my advice would be the world is changing, and I think the fleet managers actually play an important role in the mobility of the future, because a lot of the cars drive on the roads today in Europe are company cars, are employee cars, and those people drive that business. And I think my suggestion would be continue, of course, to focus on the cost of purchasing a car and the total cost of ownership. But I think the focus needs to become much more on mobility, on offering employees mobility. And I think that's maybe something that goes beyond the responsibility of a fleet manager, but it's almost like a philosophy of a company where the CEO needs to be involved of what do I stand for? My view is if you stand for sustainability, you don't just buy sustainable cars, but you offer sustainable mobility, which goes beyond offering company cars, but offers probably more company mobility rather than for everybody a car.